they feel the heat. So you need to educate yourself, and then you've got to do what I did at that Codex meeting 3 weeks ago. You've got to be persistent. See the difference between what Costa Rica did and what NHF did. Costa Rica made one little peep, and then they never spoke up again. I spoke out at least 10 times, and I got the job done. You've got to be persistent. You've got to keep at it. When you're talking to a representative or someone whose opinion you want to influence, you don't just send them one email. You didn't write them a letter. You didn't pick up the phone and call them. You could then go visit your representative in person. Take your family with you, your friends with you, believe the same way. And then start the process all over again. They'll be so sick and tired of you and all your friends doing that they'll have to do what you want to do. And also, you know, there's a lot of negative PR that gets out there in the press. Ian again touched on that with this thing about, in the British press, about natural herbal remedies don't work. Well, when you see that kind of thing, write back, challenge it, you know, and challenge it again. But keep in mind, I guarantee, I promise, every single one of you, that you will get sometime in the next week, next month, next year, certainly, you'll get negative press about natural remedies. But you've got to keep in mind, whether it's vitamin or supplements or homeopathy or herbal remedies, you're going to get it. Expect it in the mainstream press. But 99.999, as long as you go out with the 9% of the time, it's going to be total fabrication, total garbage. And I'll give you an example that will illustrate this point. There was a study that was done in the US with many thousands of women. They tested vitamin E, natural vitamin E. They actually used a good substance, not synthetic, and they claimed none of the versions were. They actually used a good substance. And they were testing it for a number of things, for its effect on the heart, mainly. And but then after the several years period when the study ended, they published the results. What did they have in the mainstream press? They had the big headline, vitamin E proven not to prevent cancer. And then underneath they had, in women, it does not prevent colon cancer. In women, it does not prevent breast cancer. In women, it does not prevent liver cancer. And there are some other things like that. And then down the list, way down, very down low below, it said, had an insignificant effect by 24% in reducing cardiovascular disease. 24%? 1 out of 4? Why, if that were a drug, that would be a blockbuster drug. You'd have headlines across the world. We discovered a blockbuster drug to prevent heart attacks in women. And then if you look at the numbers even more, that was for all women from 18 to 65. Now, if you took the range that really gets heart attacks, which is not women 18 to 50, very few women get heart attacks in that range because they're protected by a number of factors, including the fact that they're low in iron. But you look at the range from 50 to 65, it prevented heart attacks in 50% of the women. And these morons discouraged, these criminals discouraged all these women from taking vitamin E. How many thousands of women stopped taking natural vitamin E because they read the headlines? Oh, this is worthless. Why spend 40 euros a month on natural vitamin E, which, by the way, would be about 8 euros a month in the US. Why spend 40 euros a month on vitamin E when it's not doing anything for me? It's insignificant on heart attacks. Why do it? How many women suffered heart attacks because of these people and what they're doing? So, you've got to keep in mind, this is their tactic, this is their strategy, actually, is to scare people away from natural remedies. So you need to fight this. Join together with others. I encourage you to join our organization, but I especially encourage you to join the Belfort Group and take action and do what you can. Now, I've quoted this, another moron, but this one is a former president of the United States, Lyndon Johnson. You may know his name because he succeeded JFK, who had conveniently died so he could take office, and who knows, he probably had a hand in it. But he did say one good thing, and that's this quote here. If you can read it, he says, "What convinces is conviction. Believe in the argument you're advancing. If you don't, you're as good as dead. The other person will sense that something isn't there, and no chain of reasoning, no matter how logical or elegant or brilliant, will win your case for you." And what he's saying is when you're arguing, when you're doing these emails, when you're speaking in public to others, Or when you're speaking to your representative, speak from the heart and speak from conviction. Don't just recite it off like a rote thing. You want to speak from your heart. This is what convinces other people far more than just mere words. And just a brief thing about us. We're the world's oldest health freedom organization. In about 2 months, we'll be 55 years old. We're active on many fronts, fighting fluoridation in water. We were doing that back in the 50s and 60s. Vaccinations, we were spied upon by the American Medical Association because we were doing this throughout the 60s and 70s. They'd go to our conventions and spy on us, we found out just recently. Highly successful in preventing fluoridation in many communities and getting vaccination rights within the US and Canada. And we have members despite our name, our original name, we're actually international. We have members in 23 different countries. One of our chairmen was from Britain, and as Jolanda knows over here, who will be speaking soon, he's a British chap and active in many other, Paul Anthony Taylor, active in many other organizations. And we're the only ones with a seat at the Codex meetings. We have a lobbyist. We don't pay him $6 million a day, I guarantee you. We don't even pay him $6 million in his lifetime. And he represents us in Washington. We have organizations that sprung up in Finland, Sweden, the UK, Germany, and Ireland, and in France just recently. And we hope to have a lobbyist in Brussels as well. This is a sample of an ad that actually Paul Taylor's wife created for us that we used in the UK and North America. And then how many of you recognize this gentleman? But there's still enough who are silent. Now, if you guess Bon Jovi, you're wrong. But if you guess Ron Paul, you're absolutely correct. He's a congressman from the state of Texas, hence the Texas flag behind him. He's receiving our Health Freedom Hero Award, the NHF Health Freedom Hero Award, in 2007, I think it was. And he is a person you'll hear more and more about. You should know. He ran against John McCain for the presidential nomination on the Republican Party ticket. He lost, of course, but he was the only non-controlled candidate running for the presidential office in the 2008 campaign. And had he been nominated by the Republicans, he would have beaten that puppet known as Obama. He would have beaten him hard because Ron Paul represented the only real choice in America, but unfortunately he didn't get the nod, so he couldn't do it. But he's been a big-time supporter of health freedom. Then we submit documents to various agencies. This is one that we submitted to the Food Standards Agency, arguing on behalf of some health freedom in advertising there in the UK. That's one of the things we do. We also have put out a book, which unfortunately I have no copies with here, or I would have sold probably a bundle full. But this is a compendium, just a compilation of articles written by various health freedom activists from different organizations who have actually been eyewitnesses at the Codex meeting over a period of years. I've written some of the articles, Paul Taylor has written some of the articles, some of the other people who were activists and present at the meeting, and I urge you to go to our website, which I'll give you the address in a moment, and you can order this book and they'll ship it to you. Alternatively, we'll have some copies available through the Belfort Group and get them available to you. But remember that title, but they will ship it to you from the States. Here's our website address. Please write it down. I'll apologize to you in advance. It's not Dutch or Flemish, but we actually hope to have some pages in Dutch and Flemish if we get some volunteers. But and then I'm doing something really stupid. I'm giving you my email address, so you can email me personally if you want. However, I get so much spam that please, if you write me, put either the Belfort Group or Codex or Belgium in the subject line. Otherwise, I'm a very fast deleter, and it will get deleted. So I'll leave that on for a moment. And I do encourage you, if you have something going on or if you want to work with us, if you aren't already working, I want to encourage you to work with the Belfort Group first of all. But if we can help in any way, please contact us. We'd love to have you as a member. You can sign on our email list. It's free, and we're fanatics about not sharing your email address with anyone. We even went to court once in the early 90s to protect our membership list that way. Or you can join as a member. And anyway, that also reminds me that there's an email list for everyone to sign that's outside. Just if you haven't already, please do that. And then this is us. We're hanging on, but I think we will win. But we're just hanging on by hand, but that doesn't mean we're going to fall off. And then I leave you with Benjamin Franklin's quote, which is my favorite one, which is, even though I'm trying to live long, a long life may not be good enough, but a good life is long enough. And I encourage each and all of you to have that good life by working towards freedom for all of us. You know, I couldn't be at these meetings without support from people like you, and I think about you when I'm at these meetings, because I'm not there for a company. I'm there for each individual. So I thank you all for coming. You've been a wonderful audience, and if you were disappointed that I didn't read the Codex Standards to you, please send me an email and I'll change next time. Thank you.
I would ask the people just to take a small pause, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so we can get back to the speech of Jolanda De Groot. She will be speaking for the Dr. Grant Commission, and I would recommend everybody takes a small pause till we come back, and I will give the word to her.
Ja, een paar uur gaan we al, maar niet. Fantastisch.
Ja, zeker weten.
Och, nooit.
Hoe lang was het weer? Het zijn van de geheime diensten.
Ja, genees mezelf, dat is dat goed. Genees mezelf.
Ik heb het niet.
Ja, aan de linkerkant.
Is dat zeker? Kijk, dat is een website dat ik telefoonnummer gedaan.
Ah ja, dat is goed.
Ja, dan.
Ja, oké.
Ik heb het niet.
Zijn naam zegt me iets, maar ik ken hem niet persoonlijk. Maar de raad ken ik wel, maar ik
Van, ja.
Zijn voorbeeld.
Maar ik zou er wel vanaf.